Lightning flickered behind clouds, silhouetting the ancient woods that crept ever closer to the sleeping village. Rowan's candle sputtered as she leaned over her latest map, charcoal smudging her fingers. In the corners of her vision, the trees outside seemed to pulse forward, inch by living inch each night. She startled as an owl shrieked. With a sigh, Rowan rubbed her temples. Just as she reached to mark a supposed drift path, a whisper rustled from outside. "Come and see." Heart racing, Rowan grabbed her oil lantern and snuck out, boots crunching fallen leaves as she tiptoed into the shifting dark. The trees shivered as if aware of her presence. She hesitated beneath the gnarled arch of a willow, then froze. There in the bark's deep veins was a pattern, delicate lines curling into shapes she recognized. Rivers, hills, and, at the heart, a spiral she'd never mapped before. Her breath fogged. "A hidden map," she murmured, tracing the shapes. As she did, pain snapped through her fingertip, bright as a bee sting. Ink-black sap welled up, swirling and forming runes before her wide eyes. "You found it! Thank goodness," drawled a voice behind her. Rowan whirled, lantern swinging wild. A red fox, eyes bright as copper moons, sat on its haunches. "You're not the first who's tried to read the map, but you might be the first to finish it. Name's Quill." Rowan's mouth dropped open. Did you just talk?" "Talking's easy. Reading the Grove's map, that's what matters. If you want to live to sunrise, you'd better come with me." Rowan's gaze darted between the talking fox and the glowing runes, her curiosity nearly winning over her fear. "If the woods move, how do we know where they'll end up?" Quill's tail flicked. "We find the heart. We stop the shift. Or everything you know gets swallowed whole. Are you in?" Lightning crackled closer. Rowan took a shaky breath, clutching her map tighter. Suspense tingled in her spine. "Lead the way, Quill. Let's chase the grove." The woods welcomed them with a hush, as if holding its breath. Rowan's legs trembled as she ducked low branches, Quill darting ahead, a flame among shadows. "Stay close," he urged, ears swiveling. These parts change when watched. Roots twisted underfoot. The very earth seemed to pulse, restless. The lantern's glow sputtered in the damp until Quill gave a bark. "Douse it!" Rowan hesitated, but obeyed. Instantly the moonlight brightened, painting ghostly shapes where trees shifted restlessly in the night. Suddenly a slim figure loomed, a woman in robes tangled with moss, tiny white blossoms, her eyes deep green, shot through with silver veins. Rowan reached for her map, nerves taut. Quill tucked himself protectively at her heel. The stranger cocked her head, leaves rustling with her movement. "Lost? Or looking?" she asked in a gentle voice. Her hand brushed a vine, which slid aside like a pet. Rowan swallowed. "I am following a map, and maybe a dream." The woman's smile was small, sad. "Dreamers are rare, but those bitten by the bark are rarer still. I'm Lise, keeper of plant songs. The trees sang of your coming." "Keeper, huh? Then you know about the spiral?" Quill's tone was challenging. The woman nodded. "The heart of the grove is restless, growing wilder, older. I can hear its roots crying, 'Not yet, not yet.' The guardians are less patient. If you cross their paths, you must show them you belong." Rowan's nerves bristled as a shadow flitted between trunks. "What happens if we don't?" Lisa's lips twitched. "You'll find yourself lost forever, or worse, be turned to bark yourself. But I believe you can help. The heart is calling lost things home. Some of us," she glanced at Quill, "aren't ready to let go." Rowan looked between her new companions, her fear tempered by wonder. "Then tell me, how do I show I belong?" Lise pressed her palm to Rowan's. Vines curled against Rowan's skin, their song thrumming in her bones. "The answer will find you, but first we must face the first guardian together." Wind whipped through the branches above, carrying a distant, thundering growl. The trees trembled. With Quill at her side and Lise humming to the roots, Rowan stepped deeper into danger and legend. They walked in single file, Lise at the lead. The trees shifted behind them, closing the path. Rowan traced the map on her arm, heart pounding with each step. The thundering grew louder, echoing from every knotted root and tangled branch. Quill flicked his tail anxiously. "Guardians always know when you're close. Don't show fear, Rowan." Rowan managed a shaky smile. "I'll just pretend the shifting ground is normal. No problem." Lus stopped at a hollow. She knelt beside a mound sprouting lavender and bright blue mushrooms. As she whispered, the mushrooms glowed, illuminating a towering shape hidden in branches, a creature of bark and moss. Face seemed like split wood, amber eyes glowing. It spoke, voice booming like 1,000 falling trees. "Why do you disturb the old path?" Rowan swallowed, her voice little more than a trembling whisper. "We seek the heart." The guardian tilted its head, vines snaked from its arms, wavering between them. Lise sang softly, her words blending with the forest's song. Flowers bloomed where her fingers touched, and the vines retreated slightly, uncertain. Quill stepped forward, bowing his head. "Great one. She's marked. The grove chose her." Amber eyes appraised Rowan, the bark-notched mouth twisted. "Prove your intent. A map can lie." The vines coiled around Rowan's map, lifting it high. Fear shot through her. "Don'ts!" A vision flooded her senses. The world spinning, the wandering forests circling villages, the spiral's pull. A memory not her own of a time before fields and roads, when the forests themselves were lost and searching. She gasped, clutching her chest. "You want to go home?" The guardian's rumble softened like distant thunder. "Yes, find our heart, heal the broken song." Rowan, Quill, and Lise exchanged glances. Rowan raised her chin. "We'll do it, on my name and map." The guardian's bulk split down the middle, forming a passage glimmering with emerald light. Fear fading into determination, Rowan led her friends onward, knowing now that the fate of the grove, and perhaps the kingdom, had already begun to shift. The emerald corridor pulsed with life. Ferns brushed Rowan's ankles, releasing a peppery scent as Lise hummed a guiding note under her breath. The trio stepped forward, the bark sealing behind them like a closed wound. "Can't recall the last time a guardian let someone through without a riddle or a chase," Quill whispered, gaze darting around. "You must have impressed them." Rowan found herself grinning despite her nerves. "Or I got lucky. Luck's as good as magic in here," Lise replied, voice echoing among the shimmering leaves. She brushed her hand against the wall, and the wood whispered, a secret only she could hear. The tunnel twisted, and suddenly light burst ahead, a sun-dappled glade, filled with massive stones in a spiral pattern. The map's spiral. Rowan felt the mark on her palm pulsing in rhythm. Before they could move, a sound like chimes filled the air. Will-o'-the-wisps, glowing blue-white, danced between the stones. One zipped up to Quill, who snapped playfully at it. "Ignore their tricks," he warned. "They love lost wanderers." Rowan took a deep breath. "We follow the spiral." She stepped onto the first stone. The will-o'-the-wisp swirled around, their dance intensifying, the air thick with mischief. Stone by stone, Rowan led, with Lise murmuring a tune that seemed to hold the pattern together. Halfway through, the spiral shifted, the stones sliding subtly into new paths. A whisper slithered in Rowan's ear. "Turn back, or be lost like all before," Rowan faltered. Quill leaped to her side, eyes fierce. "No giving up, you're our guide now." Lise pressed Rowan's shoulder. "Trust your mark. Let it pull, not push." Rowan squeezed her fist. The mark glowed, and as if in answer, the correct stones shimmered with a golden hue, a pattern only she could see. Confidence swelling, she strode forward, unerringly picking each new step. At the spiral's heart stood an ancient oak. Roots tangled and strong, bark carved with the same mysterious symbols as Rowan's mark. The will-o'-the-wisps bowed, then vanished. The trio approached, breathless with awe and fear. "Is this the origin?" Rowan whispered. "We're closer," Lise said, "but not yet safe. The next guardian won't be so gentle." Thunder rolled in the distance, and the oak's branches parted, revealing a hidden path. With the spiral behind them and the unknown ahead, Rowan gripped her friend's hands, certain she was no longer a mere mapmaker, but something more. The new path twisted downward, roots curling above like the ribs of some vast sleeping beast. Shadows pressed close as the trio walked, Rowan's breath steaming in the sudden chill. Each step echoed. The world here felt hollow, as if walking inside memory itself. Quill's ears pinned back. "Now comes the trickiest part, the mischief." Lise nodded, the light from tiny mushrooms on her satchel glowing. "Forest spirits dwell here, tricksters who test intentions. Watch your mind and your heart, Rowan." Barely had she finished warning when laughter erupted around them. Bright as children at play, yet wrong, uprooted from any real joy. Rowan froze as dozens of tiny figures spilled from the moss. Sprites with bark-tipped wings, faces of root and petal, eyes that glittered with cunning hunger. "Another seeker!" cried one, circling Rowan's head. "Let's see what she fears." Sprites spun illusions, a swirling storm of voices and colors. Suddenly Rowan was alone, map gone, hands empty. Dread washed over her. "Quill, listen," she called, her voice swallowed by silence. Dreams can trap you if you let them, hissed a nearby sprite. Give up this quest, little mapmaker, and we'll let you go. Stay, and you lose everything. Her pulse thundered. She shut her eyes, clutching the mark on her palm, and felt deep within the memory of her village. Smiling faces, safety, the longing for home. Steadying herself, Rowan called out, "You can't take what's real. My fears are mine, but so is my journey." Warm breath brushed her ear. "Good, Rowan." Quill's voice was faint but growing clearer. "Remember, follow your mark." The golden glow returned, wrapping her hand in light. Rowan opened her eyes to see the sprites recoiling, shrieking in disappointment. Lust sang a note sharp as winter air. Flowers bloomed where illusions died, and the tricksters retreated, bested for now. "You broke their spell," Lust breathed, pride in her voice. "You're stronger than you know." Rowan managed a shaky laugh. "If facing fear is the price, I'll pay it." Quill grinned, his tail brushing her ankle. "Not just a mapmaker anymore. Let's keep going, before the mischief changes its mind." The air lightened as the path led on, Rowan's courage burning brighter, every step bringing them closer to the grove's hidden heart, and whatever awaited in its deepest roots. The path twisted again, this time opening into a vast moonlit clearing. Branches interlocked overhead, filtering pearly light in threads that danced across the moss. Rowan paused, letting her fingers brush the soft carpet and feeling life pulsing just beneath the surface. A hush fell. At the opposite end, an immense stag, crowned with living branches, stepped into the moonbeam. His eyes glowed emerald, antlers lush with ferns and wildflowers trembling with each measured movement. Lys inhaled sharply. "The Warden of the Heart, be wary. He tests will, not words." Rowan tensed, standing tall as Quill nudged her forward. "Show respect," Quill whispered, "but stand your ground." The stag lowered his head, his voice rung in their minds deeper than thunder. "One comes who would change the song. Why?" The answer rose unbidden from the mark on Rowan's palm. "Because the forest is lost and hurting," she replied. "Because my home is threatened. Because we both want to belong somewhere again." The moonlight brightened, the stag's eyes sharp. "Would you sacrifice?" Rowan hesitated, heart pounding. "What do you mean?" The stag stepped forward, each hoofprint blooming into wildflowers. "You cannot mend the song without losing a piece of yourself. Old wounds require new gifts." Lys's voice was gentle. "Rowan, your gift is the map, part of what makes you you." Rowan stared at her hand. The map's lines glimmered gold. Slowly she pressed her palm to the moss, feeling her map's magic sink into the ground. She shuddered, grief and hope blending together. "Take it, if it heals the grove." The stag's eyes softened. "Brave, true." Wildflowers arched toward Rowan's hand, entwining fingers, soothing the loss with living song. "Now see with the heart, not the map." A humming filled the air, rich as summer rain. Rowan opened her eyes, colors brighter, the grove's pulses clearer. She felt new strength, even as the ache of sacrifice lingered. The warden stepped aside, revealing a hidden arch wedged in roots. Quill beamed. "You did it? Even guardians pale next to that." Lys smiled with proud tears. "You've changed, Rowan, for the better." Side by side, the trio slipped beneath the arch, hope and uncertainty warring as the grove trembled with new possibility and awaited its final fate. The arch delivered them into the ancient heart of the grove. Towering trees reached endlessly upward, branches swirling with glimmering spirits and petals of blue fire. Between the trunks, silver-edged mist swirled, casting the world in dreamlike haze. Rowan felt the loss of her map, a blankness where her gift had been. Yet something new filled her. She heard the groaning sighs of the roots, felt the heartbeat of each distant bough. She understood now that the grove's movement was more than random. It was a cry, a longing to remember what was lost. Quill pressed beside her, eyes anxious. "No turning back, Rowan. There's power here, old as the land itself. If it wakes angry—" "I hear it," Rowan murmured, voice thick with awe and nerves. "It's afraid, forgotten." Lys knelt at a root, her song more urgent. Vines and leaves quivered gently to her notes. "This is where the kingdom's fate entwines with the grove. If the song is broken forever, the woods will swallow all. Your village, the villages beyond, all lost on a rootless drift." A sudden hush. The mist parted, revealing a circle of ancient stones, each carved with spirals matching Rowan's old map. Shadows moved, a council of forest spirits, towering and draped in petals, bark, and flickering lightning. One spirit, robed in golden leaves, stepped forward. "Why seek the center, human? What do you offer that others could not?" Rowan steadied herself. I offer my bond. Not just the map, myself. We're all lost, people and forest. Let's heal if you let me in. The golden spirit approached, a hand extending. Join the song, then. But if your truth fails, both your world and ours will wither. Rowan reached out, feeling the song pull her mind and soul wider than ever before. Quill and Lice reached for her shoulders, offering their own courage and kinship. The air shivered, heavy with promise and peril. The spirits began to sing, a low, ancient chorus trembling with longing. All Rowan could do was hold on to her newfound sense of hope and step, unafraid, into the shared dream at the grove's trembling heart. As Rowan's palm met the golden spirit's hand, the world blurred. She found herself in a twilight beyond time, a space where she stood not as herself, but as something larger, woven of roots, wind, and wild memory. Quill and Lice drifted at her side, their forms shimmering, their strengths mingled with her own. The forest spirit's voices resonated through her. Rowan glimpsed the grove's earliest days, a time when the woods and people sang together before wars and greed forced the trees to wander for peace. To heal us, you must bind your own heart, intoned the golden spirit. Will you let us share your pain and hope? Rowan, trembling but bold, replied, I will. Take what you need. Pain surged. Memories of fear, lost family, desperate longing for belonging, shared with the grove's ache. Roots wrapped her gently, taking in sorrow and giving back memory. Laughter among branches, sunlight after rain, unity once lost and now possible. Quill's voice reached her as a warm thread. Rowan, don't fade. Stay yourself. Lisa's song wound through the dream, steadying her. Together, Rowan, don't carry it all alone. The spirits pressed closer. The grove can settle, but it needs an anchor. A true heart who chooses us, not out of duty, but of love. Rowan's vision cleared, a moment of crystal clarity. Let the heart of the woods and my hope become one. I choose you. Lightning flared, roots wrapped her arm, and the song crescendoed. Rowan felt the drifting forest slow, felt her own sense of drifting finally find a place. We accept, whispered the council. But sacrifice lasts. Remain, and the kingdom thrives. Leave and both risk fading. She staggered from the vision, tears on her cheek, breath ragged. Quill's fur brushed her hand, Lice steadied her. Still you? Quill asked softly, searching her eyes. Rowan smiled bravely. Changed, but still here. The choice isn't done yet, is it? Lice shook her head, worry flickering in her gaze. What are you willing to give, home or heart? The spirit's song faded to an anxious hush. The woods held their breath for Rowan's answer, the fate of all hanging between her next heartbeat and the trembling grove. Weight pressed on Rowan, the longing of trees, the hope of her village, the ache of every lost wanderer. The ancient spirits stood in a ring around her, eyes aglow with expectation. Sunlight now filtered through the canopy, but it felt uncertain, like dawn trembling on the edge of forever. Lisa's hand grasped hers. You've come so far. Whatever you choose for all. Quill gazed up, courage and fear tangled in his voice. If you stay, Rowan, you anchor the grove. It will stop drifting, but you may never truly leave again. She knelt, touching the dew-soaked moss, heart pounding. Images rose, her laughing little brother, arms stained with berjuice, her parents calling out at twilight, her friends, all waiting for the woods to stop stealing the land. But another feeling surged, belonging, deeper than blood. The spirit's old trust in mortals, Lice's gentle guidance, Quill's steadfast loyalty. She saw her own journey, no longer the lost girl desperate to map the wrongness of the world, but someone who carried paths of hope inside her. The golden spirit spoke softly. Rowan, home is not always a place. Sometimes it is a promise you remake. Rowan closed her eyes. The choice nearly broke her. If I leave, the grove will wander until it's gone, and the world unravels. If I stay, I give up my old life, but I can help everything find peace. Quill's voice was rough, determined. Then don't do it alone. Let us join you. Let heart mean all hearts, not just yours. Less straightened, voice sure. I chose to speak for plants. Quill chose to be the fox who remembers. We choose again, together. A hush rippled among the spirits as Quill pressed close, his song swelling to fill the grove. Rowan breathed deep, love and sorrow mingling. Then I choose this. Anchor the grove with all our hopes. Belonging is not giving up, it's giving too. I will stay, but as myself, and as part of you all. Spirits flared in radiant song, roots erupted in golden blossoms, branches entwined with light. As Rowan, Quill, and Lice clasped hands, the heart of the grove pulsed, settling at last to begin again. Yet danger was not truly vanquished. In the deep shadows beyond, a final test waited, a storm rising, threatening to rip their unity apart. The end was near, but so was hope. Thunder built on the horizon as the trio stood united at the center of the grove, hands joined, hope blooming but vulnerable. The ancient forest spirits gathered closer, their light now colored by Rowan's courage and the choice she had made, not just for herself, but for all who called the land home. As lightning licked the edges of the sky, the storm that had been lurking finally tore free. Wind lashed the branches, rain hammered the stones, and the very earth quaked. It was the grove's last test, a trial of unity, not magic. The force of the storm sought to break the bonds just made, to scatter the heart back into wandering and fear. Quill crouched low, fur spiked with rain. "Hold tight, Rowan. Some storms aren't meant to be outlasted alone." Lisa's voice soared into a song, weaving calm through chaos. "The song is stronger for every voice. Let the heart shape the storm." The spirits surrounded them, lending ancient strength. Rowan herself trembled, doubt whispering at the edges. Could she hold this promise with the world unraveling around her? Her mind flashed with the ache of loss and the memory of every lesson gained. Courage learned through fear, hope found in fog, love not as an anchor but a compass. She pressed her palm to the moss, heart and soul open. "We belong together, roots and rivers, wild things and dreaming people. No storm can break what we choose to hold." A golden web of light burst from her, spreading through every root and branch. Quill pressed close, his voice part snarl, part encouragement. "We're with you every heartbeat." The grove shuddered and surged as the storm howled, tearing at every doubt, testing every bond. But Rowan, Lise, and Quill held firm, joined now not merely by choice but by the living will of the grove itself. At the peak of the storm, spirits lit the canopy with radiant fire, their ancient song rising into triumphant unity. Light poured over the land, the wandering ceased, the forest settling at last, roots winding deep, branches spreading wide in certain peace. When quiet returned, sunlight broke through clouds. Rowan knelt in the now still heart of the grove, Quill warm at her side, Lise resting against a newly grown trunk. Around them, the spirits faded into gentle memory, their work done. "You did it," Lise murmured, tears in her eyes. "You found the way, not by force, but by giving and growing." Rowan smiled, tired and full of wonder. "We all found home, and gave it back to the world." Quill nuzzled her hand, tail flicking in the golden light. "Legends will say a mapmaker anchored the shifting woods. But let's hope they remember the best part, she didn't do it alone." The ever-moving grove, at peace and at last at home, stood as a living promise. And Rowan, once only a seeker, now watched over the kingdom's heart, where hope and courage would forever keep the wild from wandering away.